What if the narcissist in your life knows you're too strong to manipulate, and their final move is darker than you could ever imagine? Welcome to Jung Psyche Hub, where we uncover the hidden truths of human behavior through Carl Jung's timeless wisdom. When you stand tall with unshakable confidence, see at firm boundaries, or see through their facade. A narcissist doesn't just give up. They unleash a smear campaign to twist your reality and isolate you. Carl Jung's concepts of the shadow and projection reveal why your strength threatens their fragile ego, triggering a psychological crisis they can't face. In this video, we'll expose their devastating trick. I show you how to spot it, and arm you with practical steps to protect your truth and rise above their lies. Are you ready to break free from their manipulation and claim your power? Let's dive into Carl Jung's insights and uncover the truth together. When a narcissist realizes you're no longer under their spell, something shifts in their psyche, a spark of fear they can't ignore. You've become too dangerous to manipulate, and that's when they pull out their darkest trick. But why does your strength threaten them so deeply? Welcome to Jung Psyche Hub, where we're peeling back the layers of narcissistic behavior through Carl Jung's profound insights. In this first part, we'll uncover why your confidence, boundaries, or clarity make you a threat to a narcissist's fragile ego, setting the stage for their sinister smear campaign. Carl Jung's concepts of the shadow and projection will reveal the psychological crisis that drives their desperation, and will show you how to recognize it early to protect your truth. Carl Jung taught us that the shadow is the hidden part of the psyche, those repressed fears, insecurities, or shameful traits we refuse to face. For a narcissist, their shadow is a ticking bomb of inadequacy and self-doubt, carefully buried beneath a polished persona, the mask they show the world. Carl Jung observed that narcissists rely on this persona to maintain an inflated ego, a psychological shield that makes them feel superior. But when you come along someone who sees through their facade, sets firm boundaries, or radiates unshakable confidence, you threaten to crack that mask. Your strength exposes the fragility they've worked so hard to hide. And according to Carl Jung, this triggers what he called a psychological crisis. Let's consider Emma, a graphic designer who worked closely with her friend Mia. A narcissist, Emma was always supportive. But when she started prioritizing her own projects and saying no to Mia's endless demands, Mia's demeanor changed. Emma's newfound assertiveness, her refusal to bend to Mia's control, marked her as a threat. Mia couldn't handle someone who no longer played along with her carefully crafted image. Carl Jung's concept of projection explains this. Mia's shadow, filled with feelings of inferiority, was reflected in Emma's independence. Instead of confronting her own insecurities, Mia began to see Emma as the problem, setting the stage for a smear campaign. Why does this happen? Carl Jung's idea of the narcissistic shadow is key. Narcissists project their own flaws onto others to avoid facing them. When you embody qualities they lack, like self-assurance or authenticity, you become a mirror they can't stand to look into. Your ability to stand firm, to say no, or to live unapologetically challenges their need for control. Carl Jung noted that this creates a complex, an unconscious emotional trigger that drives their behavior. For a narcissist, losing control over you feels like losing their entire sense of self. Their inflated ego, which Carl Jung described as a defense against deep-seated shame, starts to crumble, and they lash out to protect it. This is where you become too dangerous. Your strength, whether it's setting boundaries, pursuing your goals, or simply refusing to be manipulated, signals that you're no longer a pawn in their game. Carl Jung's research suggests that narcissists thrive on power dynamics, feeding off the validation they get from controlling others. When you break free, you disrupt this dynamic, forcing them into a corner According to Carl Jung, this is when their shadow takes over, pushing them to act out in ways that feel irrational but are deeply calculated. They can't let you walk away unscathed because your independence exposes their weakness. So, how do you know you're becoming too dangerous to manipulate? Look for the signs. A narcissist might start testing your boundaries more aggressively, like Mia did with Emma, probing for weaknesses with guilt trips or subtle insults. They may question your decisions, dismiss your achievements, or act overly charming to pull you back in. Carl Jung called this psychological reconnaissance, a phase where they study your reactions to find cracks in your armor. If you resist, you're not just a challenge, you're a threat to their entire psychological structure. What can you do to protect yourself in this moment? First, trust your instincts. If you feel someone's behavior shifting, becoming colder, more critical, or strangely manipulative, it's likely their shadow reacting to your strength. Don't doubt yourself. Carl Jung's concept of the observer self encourages you to step back and see their actions as a reflection of their inner turmoil, not your worth. Second, hold your ground. Your boundaries, confidence, and authenticity are your power. Carl Jung's path to individuation, becoming your truest self, means staying committed to your truth, even when it provokes others. Try this practical step, the Strength Anchor exercise. Write down 3 moments when you felt powerful, maybe when you set a boundary, spoke your truth, or pursued a goal, despite opposition. For each, note 1 action you can take this week to reinforce that strength, like saying no to a toxic request or celebrating a personal win. For Emma, this meant documenting her contributions at work and politely declining Mia's unreasonable demands. This exercise grounds you in your resilience, making their attempts to unsettle you powerless. Carl Jung reminds us that their reaction isn't about you, it's about their shadow. Your strength isn't the problem, it's their inability to face their own fragility. By embracing individuation, you turn their crisis into your opportunity to grow stronger. Stay vigilant, stay true, and let your power shine, because their darkness can't touch you unless you let it. When a narcissist realizes they can't control you, they don't just walk away, they strike back with a tactic so insidious it can unravel your reality. This is the smear campaign, their final, desperate trick to reclaim power by twisting the narrative and isolating you. At Jung Psyche Hub, we're diving into Carl Jung's wisdom to expose this devastating move and show you how it works. Through Carl Jung's lens of projection and the shadow, we'll reveal how narcissists use this tactic to protect their fragile ego, why it's so effective, and how you can see through their lies before they take hold. Understanding this trick is your first step to staying 1 step ahead. Carl Jung's concept of projection is key to understanding the smear campaign. Narcissists, unable to face their shadow, the hidden insecurities, shame, or flaws they repress, project these traits onto you. When you become too dangerous to manipulate, their shadow takes over, and they launch a calculated attack to paint you as the villain while positioning themselves as the victim. Carl Jung called this psychological inversion, a tactic where they flip reality to protect their inflated ego. By spreading lies, half-truths, or distorted stories about you, they aim to isolate you from your support network and erode your credibility. Take Emma, the graphic designer from our last section. After setting boundaries with her narcissistic friend Mia, Emma noticed a shift. Mia began telling mutual friends that Emma was selfish and arrogant for prioritizing her own projects. She twisted Emma's assertiveness into a narrative of betrayal, even claiming Emma had abandoned their friendship. Mia used what Carl Jung called truth sandwiching, embedding lies between fragments of truth to make her stories believable. For example, she mentioned real events, like Emma declining to help with a project, but framed them as proof of Emma's disloyalty. This made her lies harder to dispute, as they were cloaked in partial facts. Why is the smear campaign so effective? Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious explains this. Narcissists tap into universal psychological patterns, like society's tendency to sympathize with victims. By presenting themselves as hurt or betrayed, they recruit what Carl Jung termed flying monkeys, people who unknowingly support their narrative. These allies, often empathetic individuals, spread the narcissist's lies, amplifying the damage. Mia, for instance, convinced mutual friends that Emma was the problem, turning their social circle against her. Carl Jung noted that this tactic exploits confirmation bias amplification, where people are more likely to believe accusations that resonate with familiar, emotional patterns, even if they're false. The smear campaign isn't just gossip, it's psychological warfare. Carl Jung observed that narcissists use this tactic to create social proof, manipulating group dynamics to make you doubt your own reality. They might spread rumors about your character, question your motives, or exaggerate minor incidents to paint you as untrustworthy. Their goal to isolate you, knowing that, as Carl Jung emphasized, humans are social creatures who rely on connection and validation. By cutting you off from your support system, they aim to weaken your psychological defenses, making you more vulnerable to their influence. So, how can you spot a smear campaign before it spirals? Look for the signs: sudden shifts in how others treat you, whispered rumors about your character, or people questioning your actions based on distorted stories. If mutual contacts start acting distant or confront you with accusations that feel off, the narcissist may be at work. Carl Jung's observer self, the ability to step back and view their actions objectively, helps you see these tactics for what they are, a reflection of their shadow, not your truth. Recognizing this early allows you to take control before their lies take root. Stay sharp, and don't let their narrative define you. In the next part, we'll share practical steps to counter a smear campaign and protect your reality. Using Carl Jung's wisdom to keep your strength intact, their lies are powerful, but your truth is unstoppable. A narcissist's smear campaign is like a shadow creeping over your reality, designed to make you doubt yourself and turn others against you. But you can fight back. At Jung Psyche Hub, we're using Carl Jung's timeless wisdom to arm you with the tools to spot this insidious tactic and protect your truth. In this section, we'll reveal the telltale signs of a smear campaign. I show you how to counter it with practical steps and guide you toward Carl Jung's path of individuation to stay unshaken. By understanding their playbook through Carl Jung's lens of projection and the observer self, you'll not only defend your reality, but turn their manipulation into a catalyst for your strength. Let's dive in and take back your power. Spotting the smear campaign. The first step to countering a smear campaign is recognizing it before it spirals. Carl Jung's concept of projection helps us understand how narcissists operate. They cast their shadow, their insecurities, shame, or flaws onto you to avoid facing themselves. When you're too dangerous to manipulate, they weaponize this projection through a smear campaign, spreading distorted stories to undermine your credibility. Here are the key signs to watch for: sudden shifts in relationships. Friends, colleagues, or family start acting distant, cold, or confrontational. Without a clear reason, they may repeat accusations about your character, like being selfish or untrustworthy, based on the narcissist's narrative. Distorted stories. You hear rumors or half-truths about your actions, often exaggerated or taken out of context. The narcissist uses truth sandwiching, mixing facts with lies, to make their story believable. Recruitment of allies. Carl Jung's flying monkeys come into play. People who, often unknowingly, spread the narcissist's lies. These allies may confront you or withdraw support. Swayed by the narcissist's victim act. Attacks on your character. The narcissist doesn't just criticize your actions, they target your core qualities. Reframing your strengths as flaws. Your confidence becomes arrogance. Your boundaries control. Your kindness, weakness. Emotional manipulation. They may use guilt-tripping or subtle jabs to make you question your reality. Exploiting what Carl Jung called confirmation bias, amplification, to make others believe their lies. Take Emma, our graphic designer from earlier. After setting boundaries with her narcissistic friend Mia, Emma noticed friends growing distant. One mutual friend confronted her, saying, "Mia told us you've been acting superior lately." Mia had twisted Emma's focus on her career into a narrative of arrogance. Using real events like Emma declining to help with a project as proof, Emma felt confused and isolated. Classic signs of a smear campaign. Carl Jung's observer self, the ability to step back and see manipulation objectively, helped Emma realize Mia's accusations were projections of her own insecurities, not Emma's truth. Countering the smear campaign. Once you spot the signs, it's time to act. Carl Jung's wisdom emphasizes staying grounded in your reality and embracing individuation, the journey to your truest self, to protect your psychological strength. Here are practical steps to counter a smear campaign. Anchor yourself in reality. Carl Jung stressed reality anchoring to combat manipulation. Keep a detailed record of interactions with the narcissist, emails, texts, or conversations. This helps you stay connected to the truth when they try to distort it. Emma started journaling Mia's accusations and the real events, which clarified the lies. Seek trusted allies. Share your side calmly with people you trust, those who know your character and won't be swayed by the narcissist's narrative. Emma confided in a close colleague who confirmed Mia's stories didn't add up, reinforcing her reality. Set firm boundaries. Limit contact with the narcissist and their flying monkeys. Politely but firmly decline to engage in drama or defend yourself against false accusations. Carl Jung's Individuation teaches you to prioritize your truth over their chaos. Stay calm and consistent. Narcissists thrive on emotional reactions. By staying composed, you weaken their narrative. Emma responded to accusations with calm facts, refusing to be baited into arguments. Reframe their attacks. See their smear campaign as a sign of your strength. Carl Jung noted that their desperation control panic reveals their fragility, not yours. Your resilience is what scares them. Practical exercise. The Truth Anchor. To stay grounded. Try the Truth Anchor exercise. Write down 3 events or interactions you know to be true, especially those the narcissist has distorted. For each, note one piece of evidence, like a text, email, or witness that supports your reality. Then, list one action to reinforce your truth this week, such as sharing your side with a trusted friend or limiting contact with toxic influences. For Emma, this meant documenting Mia's accusations, confirming the truth with a colleague, and declining invitations to events where Mia spread rumors. This exercise, rooted in Carl Jung's reality anchoring, helps you trust your perception and resist manipulation, using Carl Jung's wisdom to rise. Above Carl Jung's observer self is your greatest weapon. By stepping back and viewing the smear campaign as a psychological phenomenon, not a personal attack, you strip it of its power. The narcissist's lies reflect their shadow, not your worth. Their smear campaign is a desperate attempt to protect their fragile ego. As Carl Jung's concept of narcissistic mortification shows a psychological wound triggered when their control slips. By embracing individuation, you focus on your growth, not their chaos. Surround yourself with people who see your truth, and let their support reinforce your strength. The smear campaign is designed to isolate you, but it can't succeed if you hold fast to your reality. Carl Jung reminds us that your power lies in your authenticity, not their narrative. Stay grounded, stay strong, and let their lies fall apart under the weight of your truth. A narcissist's smear campaign is designed to break you, but it can become the very spark that fuels your growth. At Jung Psyche Hub, we're harnessing Carl Jung's timeless wisdom to show you how to rise above their lies and transform their manipulation into a catalyst for your strength. In this final section, we'll explore how to turn their psychological inversion into an opportunity for individuation. Carl Jung's path to becoming your truest self. By embracing your inner power, setting unshakable boundaries, and integrating your own shadow, you can not only survive a smear campaign, but emerge stronger, wiser, and untouchable. Let's dive into Carl Jung's insights and reclaim your authentic life. Turning manipulation into growth. Carl Jung believed that every challenge, even one as painful as a narcissist's smear campaign, that holds the potential for individuation, the process of becoming whole by embracing all parts of yourself. When a narcissist launches a smear campaign, they're projecting their shadow, their repressed insecurities and shame onto you, trying to erode your reality and isolate you. But Carl Jung's wisdom teaches us that their attack is a mirror, reflecting their fragility, not your worth. By recognizing this, you can shift your focus from their lies to your own growth, turning their chaos into a stepping stone for your transformation. For Emma, our graphic designer, the smear campaign by her narcissistic friend Mia was a turning point. Mia's lies calling Emma selfish and arrogant stung, and the loss of mutual friends hurt deeply. But instead of crumbling, Emma used Carl Jung's observer self to see Mia's accusations as projections of her own insecurities. This perspective allowed Emma to detach emotionally from the drama and focus on her own path. Carl Jung's concept of narcissistic mortification explains why Mia lashed out. Emma's strength triggered a psychological wound in Mia, exposing her fragile ego. By understanding this, Emma realized the smear campaign wasn't about her. It was about Mia's inability to face her shadow. Carl Jung's individuation encourages you to embrace your authentic self, even under attack. A smear campaign tests your resilience, but it also reveals your power. When you refuse to let their lies define you, you're choosing to live for your truth, not their narrative. This is where growth happens. Carl Jung noted that surviving psychological challenges like manipulation often leads to shadow integration, acknowledging and accepting the pain you've endured without letting it consume you. For Emma, this meant recognizing the hurt of losing friends, but refusing to let it dim her confidence. Instead, she channeled her energy into her career and personal goals, proving her strength was untouchable. Practical steps to rise above. To rise above a smear campaign, you need to protect your psychological space and build a life rooted in authenticity. Here are actionable steps grounded in Carl Jung's teachings. Embrace your truth. Carl Jung's individuation starts with owning your values and identity. Write down 3 core qualities that define you, perhaps creativity, integrity, or resilience, and remind yourself of them daily. Emma reaffirmed her passion for design and her commitment to honesty, which kept her grounded. Build a supportive circle. Surround yourself with people who see your truth and uplift your spirit. Carl Jung emphasized the importance of community in overcoming psychological attacks. Emma sought out colleagues and mentors who valued her work, creating a new network that shielded her from Mia's influence. Set unshakable boundaries. Limit contact with the narcissist and their allies. Carl Jung's observer self helps you stay detached. Refusing to engage in their drama, Emma stopped responding to Mia's provocations and focused on her own projects. Channel pain into purpose. Use the energy from their attack to fuel your growth. Carl Jung believed challenges can spark transformation. Emma enrolled in a leadership course, turning the pain of Mia's betrayal into motivation to advance her career. Integrate your shadow. Acknowledge the pain or self-doubt the smear campaign may have caused. Carl Jung's shadow integration involves accepting these feelings without letting them define you. Emma reflected on her hurt, but chose to see it as a sign of her resilience, not weakness. Practical exercise. The Individuation Anchor. To solidify your growth, try the Individuation Anchor exercise. Write down 3 core values that define your authentic self, such as courage, compassion, or independence. For each, list 1 action you can take this week to live out that value, like pursuing a passion, helping someone, or standing up for yourself. Then, reflect on 1 moment of pain from the smear campaign and reframe it as a lesson in strength. For Emma, this meant writing down her values of creativity, integrity, and growth. Taking actions like pitching a bold project, supporting a struggling colleague, and saying no to toxic interactions. She also reframed Mia's betrayal as proof of her own power to set boundaries. This exercise, rooted in Carl Jung's individuation, anchors you in your truth and turns manipulation into a catalyst for growth. Why you're stronger than their lies. Carl Jung's insights reveal that a narcissist's smear campaign is a sign of their weakness, not yours. Their psychological inversion, painting you as the villain, is a desperate attempt to avoid their shadow. By staying true to yourself, you disrupt their narrative and prove your resilience. Carl Jung's concept of control panic shows that their escalation is a reaction to losing power over you. Your strength, your boundaries, confidence, and authenticity terrifies them because it exposes their fragility. As you embrace individuation, you build a psychological fortress. Their lies can't penetrate. The smear campaign may sting, but it can't define you unless you let it. Surround yourself with those who see your light, and let their support amplify your strength. Carl Jung reminds us that your authentic self is your greatest asset. By integrating your experiences and focusing on your growth, you transform their attack into a testament to your power. Keep shining, not to prove them wrong, but to live the life you were meant to lead. Your truth is your shield, and their lies will crumble under its weight. You've just uncovered the narcissist's darkest trick, the smear campaign, and seen through their lies with Carl Jung's powerful wisdom. At Jung Psyche Hub, we've revealed how your strength triggers their shadow, sparking a desperate attempt to tear you down. But here's the truth. Their lies can't touch your power unless you let them. Through Carl Jung's lens of projection and individuation, you've learned to spot their manipulation, anchor yourself in reality, and rise above their chaos. Your confidence, boundaries, and authenticity are your fortress. No smear campaign can break through when you stand firm in your truth. This is your moment to reclaim your narrative. Don't let their psychological inversion define who you are. Let your light write your story. If this video ignited a spark in you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and join the Jung Psyche Hub community to dive deeper into your journey of self-discovery. Share this video with someone who needs to break free from a narcissist's grip, and drop a comment below. What's one truth you're holding onto to rise above the lies? Let's inspire each other to live untouchable lives. Your truth is your power. Own it, protect it, and let it soar. Start now.